Hi guys, welcome to this week's video of New Lives in France. So this week we're going to go and see Rebecca, who does lots of artwork and glass art and stuff like that. We haven't done a New Lives in France episode for at least a month because of Christmas and things, so I'm super excited to get on the road and meet Rebecca for this month's edition. So I'm here with Rebecca and we're in her workshop, and it's a lovely workshop, I must say. What I like about it is it does look like you work in here.
Yeah.
I've been to other workshops where it's pristine clean. I prefer one that looks like it's been used. But thank you for doing the interview today. First thing I was going to ask you is sort of how long have you been here and why did you move to France?
I've been here 20 years and it definitely wasn't my choice to move here. It sounds really sad to say it, but I didn't speak a word of French and I was a grumpy teenager and had a life plan that wasn't going to happen. My mum and her husband, they decided to move over here. We lived in a beautiful place in Scotland called Dunkeld. So I was kind of dragged here by my ear when I was 16, as you can imagine, cussing quite a lot. And stayed, really, sort of managed. It took a while to settle in. I found the first year really difficult, obviously not speaking French. And 16, I think, is a bad age. But now I'm very happy here and not planning to move. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
That's interesting, actually. You came over as a kid, really, because obviously a lot of people I've interviewed have come over as adults and, you know, have kind of made that decision, but to have not made that decision and forced it upon it. So obviously you can speak quite good French now then, you're probably fairly fluent.
I think my French is probably better than my English, to tell you the truth, because I was 16 and so I actually obviously hadn't finished studying at school and everything, and since I've been over here I think my English has kind of been put to bed a bit, and I listen to a lot of audiobooks in English and read in English to try and keep my vocabulary going. I think my brain is mainly French these days. If I'm speaking to my dog or my kids, for example, I find it really difficult to speak to English with my kids.
So obviously we're in your workshop, but could you tell me a little bit more about what you do here in France?
I studied art in La Souterraine. There's a very good art school, and then I went to Paris to study stained glass.
Wow.
And then when I came back, I didn't immediately open a stained glass workshop. I did lots of random jobs. I worked for the county council, worked for tourist information. I worked in an art shop in Limoges, and then decided 10 years ago to open a workshop that would be not like a traditional stained glass workshop where we'd only do stained glass. I actually did lots of art classes because for me, painting was one of my first loves, and I can't imagine not painting on paper or on canvas or on wood. And so I started doing art classes and really worked both art classes and stained glass for quite a few years. And then when I had my daughters, I actually gave up stained glass for a little while and just needed to paint, and I painted and painted. Then slowly got back into stained glass, stopped my art classes, and now I just do mainly stained glass, some watercolors for me and some oil painting, but mostly stained glass, traditional stained glass. So everything is done with lead. Grizzle is the traditional paint, and I use hand-blown, mouth-blown rather, I don't know how you say it even in English, glass from Saint-Gobain. And I don't have any machines. I have a kiln that's electric, well, because, you know, it would be a lot of hassle if I had to have my wee piece of wood there. But all of the pieces, everything is hand. I cut out everything by hand. Everything is painted. I'm probably quite slow and inefficient, but I like doing things the traditional way, and I like putting quite a lot of myself into my work. So as best, you know, as much as possible, I try and keep it traditional.
So obviously we've got some bits here. These some of the glass works that you're working on at the moment.
What's on the table here is actually something that's not maybe aesthetically what I normally do, but it's quite a pretty project. A girl I know, her mother recently died very suddenly. And she's decided, I make pieces to go on the family tombs. with a granite base. And then what's nice about it is it's like a little night light that with a solar panel and an LED. And every night there was a light on the tomb. And so what she decided to do with her children and her brother's children is there's going to be 2 of them, and each grandchild did a drawing. So for example, this one here is one of the grandchildren has made a heart. There's one here that's really abstract because the little girl, she's only 1, so it's sort of like finger painting, and I'm going to do that with fused glass. And so everybody in the family has sort of drawn something or put something together, and then this is a little, so these will be 2 night lights to go on her grave. It's not something I do massively. I do quite a lot of lamps. I've got a lamp, if you like, I can show that to you later. I've got a really fun project coming up. I'm going to be working with a tapissier from Aubusson and making stained glass from his drawings of his tapestry. That'll be something different.
So how long did it take you to get established with this business? Because obviously it's it's quite difficult in the sort of art world to get yourself established. How did you find it?
I don't actually know if I am established. I'm probably a bit of a loser actually. I don't know if I'm established. I think the problem is having enough work to earn some money. But then also needing time to create things with meaning and not fighting with... It's that balance of being creative and earning money. I find really, really painful and difficult at times. I think that's the problem. Sometimes when you are creative, it's actually very hard to be very driven towards computers and selling yourself and putting prices. I mean, for me, I've definitely find that part quite difficult. So I'm lucky in the fact that I've met some nice people.
It's kind of amazing actually how, I think it's amazing how when people move to France or to any other country, when you do something so life-changing, how life then can kind of take you to different places. I mean, at 16, you'd probably... Someone said you'd have your work up in Paris and you'd be living in the countryside doing what you love.
I've always lived in the country. I'm a bit of a country bumpkin. So, I think I'd be pretty sad if I was living anywhere else. It's perfect for me. I like to be. I mean, I would have liked to be. If I'd stayed in Scotland, I'd planned to be a riding instructor. I already did a lot of art, but I was really horses were my fur babies. I think the lucky thing over here for me is that I found a place to be creative, but I've also got the outdoor space to disappear on my horse and be inspired. So I do an awful lot of painting actually when I come back from my rides, and with my phone I take a few photos, and then I try, and the landscapes around here are beautiful. The light here can be beautiful, and you can get some really nice effects.
No, definitely. Well, I think you're established. So
Thank
you've
you.
done very well. You do yourselves. But how are you as a business in France? How are you registered?
I'm registered with the Chambre des Métiers.
Okay.
I'm still at the micro-entreprise.
Okay. Yeah.
For me, that works, even though the lead and the glass is expensive. But you don't pay on your bénéfice, on what you earn. You pay on your chiffre d'affaires. So you're paying what you earn annually and not actually what you put into your pocket. So I'm not taking away any of my prices.
So you can't claim on expenses.
Exactly.
Like that,
I can't deduct my expenses.
Yeah, so if you've got expensive materials.
Exactly, like me. It wouldn't, if the company was any bigger, it definitely wouldn't work. But for now, with having my 2 daughters, and for now, it's comfortable doing it this way.
It's quite an easy way to set up as a business, as an individual anyway. In France,
it is.
Isn't it? So,
it's a lot less frightening than the entreprise individuelle, which for me was just a little bit scary. I don't know. It probably isn't, but I just didn't. I needed to sort of get into the bath. Toe by toe, ankle by ankle, and not jump in the deep end. I think the Chambre des Métiers, they've been great doing the courses. And then also there's a thing called Atelier d'Art de France, where you can again do lots of courses, and they're really good giving you information and helping your company grow.
So this is one of your projects. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
It really is quite amazing.
It's a little piece of... Not everyone has a house that can have stained glass window, or even not everyone wants a stained glass window. So my idea with the lamps was that you could enjoy the colours that produce the stained glass. For example, I don't know if you can see, but there you get amazing projections of colour on the walls.
Okay.
And even on the ceiling. So on this one I've put a moon and stars because it's more of a nighttime effect. But on some of them I really have fun playing with what's going on the ceiling and the walls. The fun thing about it is, if one day the person doesn't want it to be a lamp anymore, it's actually really easy to open out and make into a stained glass. I really enjoy the lamps. For me, they're really important in my work. I have a lot of fun with them.
If you don't mind me asking, how much would a lamp like this cost?
This one is about €500.
About 500 euros. And where do you sort of sell them then?
My website actually helps me a lot. I don't have an online shop, so people have to contact me. But that's because I like to speak to the people that my lamps are going to, because they're quite personal pieces for me. Every piece is different and unique. For example, this one, I'd already made a lamp similar to it, but the woman wanted a cat in it. It's for her daughter. Okay. So this little tabby here was actually made for a specific person. Okay. And so this is there won't be another one like this one.
Woodwork as well?
Actually, my brother does those. Okay. Yeah, he's an ebonist. He's my wood slave. So I get him to make nice. This one actually is chestnut. Generally tried to have them in oak, but it depends what wood I can get my hands on. This is a little watercolour actually, like the ones that I do when I come back from riding. And the wood base that it's on is they were planks of wood in a barn that were over 100 years old. So
what are these then that you've got on your light box?
These are little pieces that are often commission pieces for presents. They're all, again, unique. This one is for a guy that's offering all of his friends little hunting pieces. So there's a little woodcock, a hare. I love flowers, so I'm always inventing crazy flowers. And then I make sun catchers with them, with glass that my mum finds generally sort of Scottish. might be well travelled, but we don't know where it started. And then I make these little sun catchers. I enjoy.
Oh, they're gorgeous, aren't they?
Playing with. It's just little things. Not again. I think in this region, too, it's important to have lots of products budget-wise. Not everybody can afford a lamp. It is important, I think, for people to be able to buy something special that they feel some love has been put into. So.
Gorgeous dog here. What's his name?
Jazz.
Jazz. Oh, he's absolutely gorgeous. How long have you had him for?
He's 8.
He's 8? Oh, yeah. He's absolutely gorgeous.
He's my workshop companion. It's actually quite funny because sometimes I think he must find it so boring, because when I'm very concentrated I don't move for hours. Every morning he has the choice of staying or coming, and he always chooses to come. He's always with me.
Finally, I suppose this is going out to people who are looking or hoping to move to France. Have you got any top tips for people wanting to move to France?
It's a difficult question for me because I came over young and it was quite traumatic. I think if I had some advice, it would be, if you are planning to come over with your children, just be very attentive to what emotionally might be going on inside them, and the fact that young children often can't express, or even teenagers might overly express how unhappy they are. And learning the language, I do think is really important, just to be able to have a social life.
So what's the best thing about living in France?
I know it's really cliche, but the food and the culture around the food. When I go back to Scotland, I find it always quite sad that there's a whole difference of sharing, of l'apéro, and nobody's really. I love the fact that when you go to someone's place, you take your bottle of wine, you can take saucisson, you can take something with you, and everyone really enjoys it and really shares it. And sometimes I find meals a bit long, and I get a bit fidgety and want to disappear. But generally, I find it's a really fun moment.
They absolutely love food and drink, don't they? And anything to do with food and drink, they really appreciate it.
And really enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I don't personally like cooking, so I don't tend to cook. But my husband really does, and so there's balances to find. But I think enjoying the cheese and the travelling around France, tasting all of the different specialities is a really fun thing to do.
Thank you very much for your time today. You are a fantastic artist. I mean, honestly, just looking around your workshop here, there's some amazing pieces. And,
thank you so much for coming.
Might have to come back and buy some pieces, but thank you very much.
It's lovely meeting you.
And good luck with the rest of your artwork and everything else. And thanks a lot.
Thanks for coming to see me.
There we are. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Jazz certainly did. He's absolutely gorgeous. And I absolutely love this artwork. This stained glass is fantastic. Rebecca's a superb artist. That's it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you get notified of future videos, and you can watch me and others in their new lives in France. Cheers, guys. Bye.